We've all seen the movies. A Romani fortune teller in a colorful caravan, accurately predicting the dire fate of some soon-to-be victim of a werewolf. But how much of this romanticized Hollywood image of the Romani people is actually true? Did they really have crystal balls? Did they really dodge werewolves and vampires on a nightly basis? Although life has changed for the Romani people in the modern age, of course, so that they're not much different than any of us. Now, as it turns out, if you check the actual historical accounts, the life of roaming Romani caravans, in the old days, wasn't much different from the film depictions. The zenith of Romani culture in Romania, when it was largely untouched by the outside world and so in its purest form, can be traced back to the period around the 18th century, particularly before the emancipation of Romani slaves. So, how can we know, for sure, what life was like for the most authentic of the authentic Romani tribes that lived during that period? Well, luckily, that has been documented by scholars who have dedicated their lives to studying Romani culture. The oral history of the elders has been well preserved by such scholars. Once you dive into these learned tomes, you find that you actually can get a real authentic snapshot of how an 18th century Romani camp might have looked in the genuine past. So then, armed with the facts, and if you're ready to set off on a journey through time, we're going to travel now to 18th century Romania and get an authentic glimpse at what life was truly like for them, and how closely it fits with what all the film depictions have taught us. First off, did they use crystal balls? According to scholars, Hollywood wasn't actually too far off. Central to the 18th century Romani culture would have been their engagement with magic and the supernatural. Fortune-telling is a standard feature for any monster movie featuring the Romani. But, in fact, history bears out the fact that it actually was an authentic hallmark of Romani magic. This well-documented practice includes reading palms, using tarot cards, and gazing into crystal balls. Yes, the Romani fortune teller reading cards in the colorful caravan in misty depths of a Transylvanian forest was actually a thing, and not just a piece of mere fiction. They also created amulets and charms for protection against evil spirits and bad luck. Spells and incantations were a vital part of their magical repertoire, used to bring about desired outcomes such as love, prosperity, or protection. These rituals were absolutely central to the entire culture, and involved specific chants, the use of candles, and symbolic actions. A major part of the point of all this activity, however, was simply to keep the Romani people safe from the seemingly endless array of dangerous beasties that inhabited the Romanian wilderness. Second, did they dodge vampires and werewolves? Well, speaking of beasties, Romani folklore is rich with beliefs in various supernatural creatures. One of the most significant is the Mulo, a restless spirit, who was born from sudden, unnatural deaths or improper funeral rites. It is described as wearing white clothes, with hair reaching to its feet, and possessing one physical abnormality. Its purpose is to seek out those it held grudges against in life and torment them. And yes, it was considered a vampire. So, there you go. Check off another thing the movies got right. Believed to return from malicious acts, a Mulo may strangle or suck the blood of individuals, often targeting relatives involved in its death or improper burial ceremonies. To combat vampires, Romani people employed dhampirs, offspring of vampires and widows, to detect them. The dhampirs themselves were half vampires, whose mothers were seduced by the creatures during the night. Some of the vampire edge taken off them by the human blood, we can assume. Protective measures included driving steel or iron needles into the heart, placing steel bits in the mouth, eyes, ears, and between fingers during burial, and inserting hawthorn in socks or through the legs. Additional methods involve staking graves, pouring boiling water, decapitating, or burning the corpse. And, yes, just like in the movies, hanging garlic over your bed ensured you wouldn't run any risk of becoming the proud mother of a dhampir at any point in time. Garlic was used not only to repel vampires, but any kind of harmful supernatural spirit. So, there we go. Steel needles, essential for life in the 18th century Romani camp. Garlic, definitely. Having a half-vampire in your friend circle didn't hurt either. Another thing to watch out for were the Drabani, or witches. Though not all practitioners of magic were seen as bad, there were a few bad apples, shall we say. No wreath of garlic would do the trick if you found yourself the subject of a witch's curse. Your best bet was a counter curse, a counter spell, ideally safe in your caravan, with all your closest fortune-telling friends and family. Maybe, together, you could outspell the spellcasters, vampires and witches. So far, nightfall around the 18th century Romani camp isn't looking too peaceful, nor too safe, is it? Well, we're not done yet. The Romani also believe in Bane, or demons, malevolent entities that can cause harm. A lot of the reason for the so-called with magic of the average Romani citizen was in order to make protective charms and perform rituals that were employed to ward off these spirits. As you can probably guess by now, if you hope to debunk the Hollywood tropes by cracking open a scholarly work by one of the authors mentioned, you'd likely find yourself confirming them instead. Like we said at the beginning, the Romani are a staple in werewolf movies, and, as it turns out, there's actually good reason for this. The Pricolici, or werewolf, was actually a deeply ingrained feature of Romani life. And, on top of the demons and whatnot, a night stroll beyond the protective fires of the Romani camp would have involved watching out for werewolves, as well. They have the ability to transform into animals and people, and so were maybe the hardest Romani baddie to avoid. The Romani didn't use silver bullets, but wolfsbane was actually an authentic tool in their repertoire to keep this creature away. So, wolfbane, garlic, needles, amulets, yada yada. The list of must-haves is getting long. No wonder Romani always seemed to be wearing so much on their person. Every one of those things were needed. A little less gruesome, but dangerous just the same was the Iolae. They were beautiful but dangerous nymph-like creatures with supernatural powers. They are believed to inhabit forests, rivers, and other natural settings, where they lure unsuspecting mortals into their midst. Romani people may have rituals or taboos to avoid attracting the attention of Iolae and protect against their enchantments. So, the amorous young Romani man wasn't safe, either. So, there you have it. We've taken a step back in time and caught a rare glimpse of a world that proves to be just as intriguing and hair-raising as its reputation. Turns out their life was just as magical and fraught with supernatural folklore as we've been led to believe. Based on scholarly accounts, it's clear that life for the 18th century Romani tribe was authentically seen, by them at least, as a place steeped in magic, spirituality, and more than its share of danger from supernatural creatures. Maybe this was the reason for the exceptionally strong social bonds in Romani camps, with complex rules for behavior and cooperation. Because, with so many dangers around, they really needed each other. Their beliefs and practices offer a window into a stimulating world where the natural and supernatural coexist. A reminder of the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. We tend to forget about that in our modern world. And maybe that's one thing that makes imagining the old Romani world so irresistibly fascinating. In any case, it might make you want to ponder that just maybe it might not be such a bad idea to keep some garlic around the house. It couldn't hurt anyway. That just about wraps up tonight's tale from Lorehound. Follow us as we sniff out more of history's most interesting stories.
As the hound dog entered the dimly lit library, he sensed an aura of mystery surrounding the ancient scrolls. The dusty shelves towered above him as he sniffed his way through the labyrinth of books. Suddenly, he picked up a scent and followed it to a secluded corner. With bated breath, he approached the shelf and pawed at the book, revealing the hidden scroll. As he rolled it out, he knew he had discovered a treasure worth protecting at all costs.